Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Hazeeq, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at Polygon MATIC. I do want to say that I'm not a financial advisor. You should do your own research before investing money into crypto. If you haven't seen the previous update, make sure to watch that before watching this one. It's going to be linked in the top right hand corner of the screen. Now let's jump into the TA. So we're on the daily chart. As you can see, Polygon MATIC had a quite of a pullback here, 55%, which is on average what most altcoins do, 50 to 55 with this pullback that we had. Most of them did 52, 50%, 49, so around 50% roughly speaking. And you can see we dropped down below all of our support levels that we had placed for you in the previous videos. So 77.5 cents, you had 69 cents, you had 66 cents, you had 61 cents, and then of course we didn't get back down to that yellow block at the bottom there, between 58.5 to 53 cents. And should you be buying right now? Well, personally, if I had any spare cash right now, which unfortunately for some specific reasons I don't, but I would have been buying Polygon MATIC down at these prices. If you don't have any Polygon MATIC coins yet, this is also a really good time to be accumulating and finally getting into position, because after we break above the February 2023 high, I think it's going to be a really clear path to the all-time high. And after that, I think it's a clear path to $4-5. And by the end of the bull market, we're still waiting for $10 per coin for Polygon MATIC. Now, if we take a look at the RSI, we're in the oversold once again. This is showing us that the asset is oversold, which means it's a good buying opportunity, just like it was back in May 2023, in June 2023, in August 2023, and in September 2023. And if you take a look at this massive support trend line that we have, as you can see, we've been holding it for a long time, for 3 years here. And every time we come back down to it, we have a bounce to the upside. The last time was back in October 2023. This time, if we continue dropping, we might just end up on top of that yellow trend line, hover above it for a bit, and then have the next move to the upside. Kind of what we saw over here, which is really similar. We came back down, consolidated, and another leg up. Hopefully that's what's going to play out in case we do come back down to that trend line. So I'm not saying we will do that, but in case we do, you are aware that that's a pretty strong level. Every single time we had a bounce from there, and especially if you don't have any coins, there is no reason for you to be waiting for, 56, 57 cents. You can look into some buying opportunities within the realms of this blue block that we have set up, and we've had it on the chart for ages. That's between 76 cents and 69 cents. If you can get into into Polygon MATIC in that block, that's a really good entry point. Now let's switch over to the weekly chart. This was just a brief breakdown of what we can expect on the daily. And before we continue with the video, I want to give a quick shout out to my Patreon. If you're interested in getting more exclusive content, you want to support me as a creator, and you like what you're seeing here on YouTube and you want more, feel free to check out the Patreon. That's definitely a place for you. There's a 7-day free trial, which means you can get access to all of my content since the inception of the page. So that means you get podcasts, low cap gems, technical analysis, project reviews, and a whole bunch of other stuff. We try to do posts there on a daily basis. We cover airdrops and a lot of stuff that we don't really cover on YouTube because we don't have as much time. And of course, because patrons get more stuff and more content. And if you're interested in that, the link is down below in the description. Thank you all. Let's continue on with the video. So on the weekly chart, as you can see, we are breaking back down into the triangle pattern that we have here, the symmetrical triangle. And this is not the best thing ever, but we still have some hope, because if we close the candle above the yellow trend line, this will be considered as us holding the support trend line, and the wick below is just a wick. So as long as we hold the yellow trend line, that should be good, as this is a back test of previous resistance. If not, then so be it. We're holding the 200 EMA on the weekly, which is a good thing, but we are below the yellow trend line. So that was, that was our hope here when we were breaking out of this massive pattern, that we're finally getting out of this pattern and we're actually going to have a move to the upside from the triangle. But unfortunately, with the pullback that we saw with the news coming from the Middle East, all the markets dropped. Now, worst case scenario, I would say we could drop back down to the yellow trend line here that we covered on the daily chart before. You had a few bounces before, and on the daily, we obviously took the March-April 2021 touch. On this chart, we want to be a bit more specific, so we took the candles from the we took the closures of the candles as the points of contact for this pattern. On the Fibonacci side of things, as you can see, we placed a Fibonacci retracement from the June bottom in 2022 to the January 2022 high. And so far, we have been printing consistently lower highs, but we have been printing higher lows at the same time. So as you can see, we're just getting squeezed up in this little end section here, and it looks like we're going to have an explosion to the upside at some point. Once we're able to get out of this, we can add another trend line, for example. We can add another trend line like that, as you can see, and then once we print this low, we can add another trend line. So this will be like a symmetrical triangle on top of a symmetrical triangle, and then once we break out of that, we should have a clear path to $1.58 and then to $3 there, which is the all-time high price. Now, I think this can happen after the halving, after we get the altcoin season. It depends on when we get that. The expectation right now is that we get the halving. There might be a crash after the halving as well, due to some news, due to some FUD, who knows. And then we start seeing a Bitcoin rally. We start seeing ETH, the higher caps rallying, and then we have the surge of the mid caps and the low caps afterwards, because that's how the money flows in the crypto markets. So let's see if that plays out. Definitely a good buying opportunity right now for anyone trying to get into Polygon, whether you're a new investor or whether you just want to top up your existing position. $5 is going to be our minimal target during the bull market, and then we have $6.75, and we have $10 as our technical target at the end of this bull market. Let's see if that plays out. Let me know what are your targets to the upside. That's going to be really interesting to see what you guys think. On the weekly RSI, as you can see, we're coming back down to this support trend line at 40.6 on the RSI index. And that's going to be a really good entry point. If we end up going even lower, you have this support block to take a look at. That's going to be 35 and 32.5 on the index. So we had a few bounces there in 2022 and 23. And if we end up coming back down below the index of 40 here, that could be our next stop. And make sure to draw this out on your trend line just so you're aware of what's going on. That should be it for this video. The RSI and the stochastic are resetting. The MACD printed a bearish cross, so we might be in a bit of a downtrend here for a few weeks, maybe a month, who knows. But the summer period should be very exciting after the halving. We'll see what happens, and the halving is coming in just, I think, 5 days, 4 or 5 days when this video is coming out. So things are going to get very exciting very soon. It's just that, these manipulations are coming into the markets on a constant basis. So if you are a seasoned veteran investor, I don't consider myself a veteran by any means, but at this point, these corrections don't affect me whatsoever. The numbers in your portfolio are just numbers on a digital screen. They don't change anything. They don't affect what's going to happen at the end of the day with the crypto markets. This is just a temporary pullback, an opportunity for everyone to get more coins, secure their positions, bring down those average buy-in prices, and then continue waiting, continue being patient, and setting up those targets for the bull market. That should be it. Thank you all for watching. Stay safe and take care.